Hey, it's Ryan Adams here from naturalweightlossmastery.com. If you're just running into me for the first time here on YouTube, I've been able to lose 40 pounds over the past couple of years thanks to this amazing approach to nutrition. Now, granted, I haven't had some remarkable sob story transformation. I don't have the most amazing before and after photos. But I do want to talk to you today about how I've been able to finally get control of my weight. It was always something that I never had full control over. I could lose a couple of pounds, maybe 5 or 10 at a stretch here and there, but never really did I have that much confidence when I stepped on the scale. And boy, oh boy, do I feel relieved to now be able to do that. So in this video, I'm going to break down what helped me break through with this, and hopefully that can aid you with your weight loss transformation here. Let's dive in. So the first point of note on this, and what I see as being by far and away the most influential factor in my early progress, was the fact that the quality, the nutrition properties of the food I was now eating improved greatly from what I was doing previously. Let me give you an example. A few short months prior, I was following, as many of you know, this gym bro style approach. We're talking multiple chicken breasts every single day, cans of tuna, whey protein shakes. I know, it's pretty hard to imagine, right? And of course, interspersed between those things, admittedly, I was having my fair share of junk food under the guise of flexible dieting, of course. I was a stickler for Pop-Tarts, as you OG subscribers, many of you know. So we're talking high-calorie diet. We're talking huge percentage of my diet coming from animal fats and animal proteins. Those two things, of course, inextricably linked to weight gain, to major chronic disease, and so on. And of course, really importantly, a diet that was very void of fiber. So, naturally, when I started adding more plant foods into my diet, I was eating more fruits, I was eating more veggies, more whole grains, of course, more beans too, of course. I was having beans previously, but bean intake went up. What did this do? This dropped the calorie density of my meals hugely, so I was able to eat less calories, but with a similar volume. So that was really remarkable. Of course, my fiber intake skyrocketed as well. Fiber, a really key component, as I say, for weight loss. So I think that was quite obviously for me the biggest tipping point. Nothing really broke me through with weight loss like that did. And of course at the time I didn't really have the knowledge or the wherewithal to analyse all of this. But in hindsight, this was beautiful at the time because I was able to eat, as I say, generous portions. I didn't have to worry about things like meal frequency, meal timing so much. It was more about just substituting the utter rubbish, the utter garbage that was in my diet previously for now this nutrient-rich food versus the calorie-rich food that I was eating before. So big separator for me, I went from eating calorie-rich food to nutrient-rich food. The quality of the food I was eating, the nutrients I was getting, skyrocketed. And I think there's no other tipping point aside from that. That really was the breakthrough moment. Something else that really helped me is that I did absolutely at the time feel that losing weight with this approach was way, way easier than what I did previously. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a walk in the park by any means. There was certainly on the mental and emotional side of things, lots of obstacles that I had to overcome. Okay, I was a big boredom eater back in my student days as well. So going plant-based didn't automatically cure that. I had to do some work on this stuff too, the mindset stuff. But generally, because I was able to eat generous portions, because of the low calorie density, the high fiber content, because of the quality of these foods, because of the fact that I didn't have to do that much exercise, certainly initially, meant that this weight loss process, I was just stunned at how easy it could be. And don't get me wrong, I had little bits of success here and there previously on other diets. It wasn't like none of those things worked for me before. But never really could I break through. Never were any of those other things particularly sustainable, really. And so when I found this plant-based approach, there was genuinely, and this epiphany came to me within the first couple of weeks, as I remember it, but there was genuinely a sense for me that I could do this for the rest of my life. And that was absolutely mind-blowing at the time. That was great. Another point to stress, this has been a key acceptance, I suppose, in my journey here, is that it's been slow. Like, weight loss is slow sometimes. Now, initially, don't get me wrong, the drop was big for me. I lost 25 pounds in the 3 or so months that followed going plant-based in 2015. But since then, to be honest with you guys, it's been very, very gradual. And, you know, again, with the knowledge I now have today, we're talking about 4 or 5 years ago, with the knowledge I now have today, could I have sped it up? Could I have done things more efficiently? Could I have made less mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But Not much faster, not much faster, I must admit. And so just an acceptance that after the initial breakthrough, that progress was going to be quite gradual for me, but sustainable, that was the key. I learned to be cool with that pretty quickly. And I think you can even see this in my older videos on this channel. I don't know exactly how long I've been running this channel, but I'm sure we're around the 3-year mark. If you actually go back, and I'll put some footage over here, I'll overlay some B-roll footage here, but if you go back and look at some of my original videos on this channel, I'm still slim at that point. I'd still had my big initial weight loss, but I'm a little bit puffer in the face. I've got a little bit more body fat on me. I do think you can notice it, and sometimes things like lighting and whatnot make a difference too, and camera quality, of course. But I am a little bit puffier back then. And so, you know, this is as long as 3 years ago. So the change has been very gradual after that initial drop. And I think for me, acceptance of that, that has made things really, really cool for me, really, really easy. I've taken the pressure off and just been okay with getting to my goal over time, which of course I'm now at. I was at, you know, a couple of years back, but there was still a year or two there where the weight was very slowly coming off me. Now again, as I say, there's lots of people out there who are probably too patient for their own good. I often say the urgency, it can be both your best friend and your worst enemy sometimes, because if you're urgent, if you're always keeping yourself on your toes, it means you're constantly troubleshooting. It means that if your progress is going slowly, you're like, right, what can I do to speed things up? I think that's a good attitude. But some people are really, really impatient and have way too much urgency for it to be healthy or wise. And so for me, yeah, I could have sped it up. But it was so manageable in the end for me, just sort of naturally getting to the body fat levels that I wanted. So that's been huge. And I think generally my final bit of advice for you folks in this video, my final nugget, is progression. This idea of Kaizen or continuous improvement. The same as in mastering any area of life, whether it be career, social life, spiritual life, it really is the same in any area. It's just about progression over time. And so for me, as I said earlier on, I didn't really have the wherewithal or the knowledge to know initially when I went plant-based why it was working, really, from a weight loss perspective. But over time, I increased my knowledge. There were plenty of plateaus that I came to, and as I hit those weight plateaus, I would go off and do more research and listen to other people's advice on this and follow the medical doctors online and read some of their books and try and figure things out for myself, monitor my progress and see what worked and what didn't. And I think this because it is gradual and slow, admittedly, but this slow accumulation of knowledge and this slow progression really, really helped me. And there was always something I was doing to take myself to the next level, whether it be from a mental standpoint, whether it be from an exercise point of view. I know I haven't really talked about exercise in this video, or nutritionally. There was always something I was doing to just improve, just be a bit more consistent. You know, even when I went plant-based, there was still plenty of mistakes. There was still, you know, the occasional meal out. There were still times where I was eating the right sorts of foods, but potentially overeating. So there was occasionally a bit of boredom eating that, you know, would jump back from my past and scare the living daylights out of me, admittedly, just when I thought I'd cured it. And so that would catch up with me once in a while. And it was just the progression, the elimination of these problems, slowly over time, that was really essential to me. So my final message for you folks is just keep the progress going. You don't have to get everything right initially, but keep pushing yourself. And if you do start to plateau, be on your game. Don't get complacent. Don't just sit and think, oh, this is it now. This is my destiny. I've lost my first 10 pounds. I've still got 20 to go. But maybe this is my natural body weight. That's what a lot of people say. They say, oh, this is my natural body weight, even though they're like 10 pounds, 10 kilos away from the upper echelons of their BMI range there, their healthy body weight range. They still think, oh no, this is what's natural for me. And there is a genetic predisposition, to weight. There is a genetic component. But yeah, I think sometimes we believe these things as a way of self-justifying where we're at right now and not really pushing ourselves further. So I think really progression is probably the antithesis to that sort of complacency. So I suggest that you keep pushing yourself. That's my advice for this video, folks. As always, if you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe if you're just running into my stuff for the first time here, and head over to naturalweightlossmastery.com for more resources. I've got books, I've got cookbooks, I've got meal plans over there. That's naturalweightlossmastery.com. Thanks for your time. See you soon.